3 days after the midterms, and control of the House is still far from certain. At this hour, more than 24 House races are still uncalled, but the NBC Decision Desk model currently projects that Republicans will gain 220 seats, plus or minus 7 seats. But plus or minus 7 seats is mathematically pretty darn interesting. And it begs the question, is there still a path for Democrats? And if so, how realistic is it? For answers to these burning questions, let's turn to the good, the great Steve Kornacki at the big board. Steve, what is the latest on the House?
Yeah, we actually did just call a few more races NBC did in the last hour or so in the Democrats' favor. So basically, here's one way of looking at the math. Right now, there are 211 races that have been called for Republicans. There are 203 that have been called for Democrats, or in California, where they have those top 2 primaries and you can have the same party running in the general election. There are a couple districts where it's Democrat versus Democrat. So we're just going to say, for the sake of this, those are Democratic seats. It's 211, 203 at this point. That leaves 21 uncalled races right now. So to get to 218, the magic number for Democrats is 15. If they can get 15 of the 21, they'll have a majority. The magic number for Republicans is 7. They need 7 of the 21 uncalled seats, okay? So let's take a look at where those uncalled seats exactly are. And here's your list. There's 20 on this page, and then there's one more, Washington 3, on this page. Let's go back to the biggie, and one thing that jumps out at you right away, 10, basically half of the uncalled seats are in California. And we had said this the other night, that if it ever came down to a district-by-district battle for House control, it could take a couple weeks, because that's how long the vote counting can take in California. Now, if you look at this list from the standpoint of Democrats trying to get that magic number of 15 of these 21, there are a number of them on here that are very promising for them already. Take, for instance, the 2nd District of Maine. Jared Golden, the Democrat, with a pretty sizable lead. Maine is a ranked choice voting state, so if he's short of 50, he may need to go through a ranked choice process to actually get there, but he certainly, and Democrats would be feeling good about his position there. New Mexico, 2, just about all the vote is in. It's very close, but the Democrats are ahead there. You can find plenty of seats like this here. You could see pretty realistically a path for Democrats to get to that number 215 that you just showed. How could they actually get, though, those 3 extra to get them to 218? Where should you be looking for those? Well, you should be looking to a district like this, the 22nd District. This is of California, the Central Valley. David Valadao, he lost his seat in 2018. He got it back in 2020. About a third of the vote is in right now. He is ahead of his Democratic challenger, but there's lots of vote to be counted still. And you do see in California often these late kind of wild swings as this weeks-long process sometimes of vote counting comes in. This is the kind of place, though, where the Democrat would have to leapfrog Valadao if Democrats are going to go from getting 215 and just falling short to actually holding the majority. You'd need a district like this. Maybe you'd need something like this. Again, you need a comeback here. Christy Smith over Mike Garcia. This is a rematch of a House race from 2 years ago. This was one of the closest House races in the country 2 years ago. Maybe in the 41st District of California, Ken Calvert, the long-serving Republican, the district was changed, made it a little more democratic in the redistricting process. These are the kinds of places the Democrats would need to pull off upsets, get a couple of those, win some of the others I was showing you, and they could get up then to 218 seats. The irony of all of this, Alex, is if they do end up falling just short, like let's say they got 215, that'd be 3 seats short. Where was the most damage done to Democrats on the map? In New York State. In New York State earlier this year, Democrats, who have all the power, drew congressional lines that were designed to maximize Democratic gains, minimize Republican opportunities. That map got thrown out by a court, redrawn, and on the new redrawn map, Republicans ousted and picked up 4 Democratic-held seats just out of New York, including that of the chairman of the DCCC, Sean Patrick Maloney, the campaign committee that organizes the entire Democratic effort. An unbelievable irony. If the DCCC has a historically incredible performance in this election, that's what this could amount to if they come just a few seats short. And yet what makes the difference, what costs them actually keeping the majority, is the DCCC chairman himself losing his seat and his state, the blue state of New York, being the place where Democrats lost 4 seats. That could end up being the difference in this thing.
I think that's what is in the encyclopedia under tragic irony.